Hey guys, welcome back to the OpenStack.Ninja YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about how to quickly build yourself a all-in-one concept cloud with Packstack. This is going to be making use of Project RDO, which is kind of an upstream distribution of Red Hat's OpenStack platform. Now, why would you want or need a all-in-one concept cloud? Well, there's a few reasons. I've made use of it for testing features. It's also a really good way of playing with OpenStack with a fairly minimal footprint, so you can get used to the obvious the Horizon GUI and the API, and get an understanding of how all the services fit together. Now, today we're going to be looking at Packstack, as I said. Now, Packstack is a really super simple way of building a OpenStack concept cloud. You can extend it. By default it installs on a single server, but you can spin out additional servers to run additional services. So you could do something like build out a machine to start with and then spin out some extra additional compute resources. So, like I say, we're going to be using Packstack. Now, I recommend going to rdoproject.org, having a look and having a read. Now, I'm going to walk you through how to install Packstack, and again, it is really straightforward. And in fact, you could probably just come here and follow the instructions without watching the video. But like I say, so I'm going to click across over here to the install. Now there's quite a lot of information here. Again, this walks you through how to install it. One thing I do want to bring your attention to is your hardware requirements that are here. Now you need a machine with at least 16 gig of memory. Now that is just to run Packstack itself. That's the minimum requirements. On top of that, you also need processors with hardware virtualization extensions, and you're going to need at least one network adapter. Now, so this is designed to run on CentOS or RHEL. I'll be doing this on a CentOS server, but again, if you have access to a Red Hat Enterprise Linux server, you can do it on there. So if we have a quick jump across to my terminal window, and as you can see, I'm just running a yum update on here just to make sure the machine's ready to go, which is nearly finished. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video here and I'll jump back to you when the server's back. So we're back and the server has been patched and rebooted. So the very first thing we need to do is, if we jump back across here to the documentation. Now, you can probably, if you're using a non-English locale, you need to make sure that you've changed your etc environment file. Again, I won't be doing that because I'm using an English locale. When we look at the super simple installation instructions, so we've already done an update -y, which is what I was doing when we started the video. That makes sure the CentOS box is up to date fully. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install some helper packages and some repo packages. Now, as you know, OpenStack releases fairly often, and Packstack will have a deployment available for most of the new ones, including Train. But today I'm going to install the Stein version. So the very first thing we want to do is grab hold of the sudo yum install CentOS release OpenStack Stein. Now, if you wanted to install an older version like Queens, you should be able to just substitute OpenStack-Stein with OpenStack-Queens or Rocky. They don't go all the way back, so if you wanted something like Newton or Mitaka, you would have to go and find the older RPM mirror on the Debian. Sorry, not the Debian, on the repo, and you can see down here, looking for an older version, you can go here to rdoproject.org/repos for the full listing, which will allow you to get the different versions. So I'm going to grab this and that. Now all this does is install some packages for you, nothing particularly exciting. So if we jump back to here, Again, it wants you to do another YAML update, so we'll just run that through. This will be really quick because obviously there's not a huge amount of stuff, but it does update a few things. And this is pulling those packages from the OpenStack Packstack Stein repo. So if we jump back over to our, and we're going to do sudo yum install -y OpenStack Packstack. So we're going to do sudo yum install OpenStack Packstack. If we jump back over here, throw that in. Now what that does is that installs a load of dependencies for the actual installation service of Packstack. So what Packstack does is it uses a local run of Puppet. So it'll download all of the required files from the repo, inflate them, and then it uses Puppet to run and do the actual install. So you can see here it's installing a load of Puppet modules and Puppet OpenStack pieces. We'll wait for that to finish. And then the final piece here is to do sudo packstack all-in-one. Now, for this super simple install, we are just going to do sudo packstack -- all-in-one. What you can do is provide an answer file, and if you have a look through here, you'll see you can provide an answer file, and that allows you to turn on and off different features and set up different things. So what this will install by default is your standard OpenStack items, so Keystone, Neutron, Cinder, I think it does Swift, it does Nova obviously, Glance, I think it might also do Octavia now as well, the load balancing, but doesn't do all of the kind of other packages that may exist. So you can use the answer files further down the line to modify what you're actually installing. So if we jump over here, run the command properly. So sudo packstack, and as you can see now, this is the packstack setup utility. So what it actually does is it SSHs back into itself to do the installation. Now, depending on the hardware that you're running on, this could take up to an hour. It normally takes about 30 minutes on the machine that I'm using, which has got 8 cores and 32 gig of memory. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video for now, and then we'll come back once it's deployed. Obviously, one thing you can do while this is running, if we scroll up here, you can open another SSH session to your server, and you can actually tail this log file here, and you'll be able to see what it's doing in the background. It's not particularly exciting, but obviously there might be some interesting information. And of course, if this installation was to fail, that's where you'll need to go in order to troubleshoot the failure. So as I said earlier, it uses Puppet. So what it's doing now is it's applying a Puppet manifest to this server, and then it spends a little bit of time testing that it's been deployed. So like I say, I'll be back when this is finished. Okay, so we're back. That took about 25 minutes on this machine again. Like I say, 8 cores and 32 gig of memory. So what you can see here is the installation is completed successfully, but some additional information here to read through. So Neutron Layer 2 agent, we're using OVN Neutron. It doesn't support LBAS, VPN as a service or firewalls as a service, and we're using GRE for the tenant networks. Now, very quickly, as I said before, there's an answer file. So if we very quickly switch to root, and we have a look at this file here. So in here, as I said previously, is all the stuff that you can have it install. By default, it will install things marked with a Y. So you've got Glance, Cinder, Nova, Neutron, Horizon, Swift, Solometer, ADOH, but it doesn't install things like Heat, Magnum, Trove, Ironic, etc. So yeah, so that's that. The other option that you can do is you can actually run I think it's Packstack help Yeah, so you can run --help, and then in here, so you can pass all this stuff in on the command line. I'm pretty sure that somewhere at the top, so a lot of output. You can do this here, --gen answer file, and that will create you a template of an answer file, which is what we saw earlier, which you can then modify and then use that answer file in order to install a customized deployment for you. What we ran is --all in one, which basically says install on the local host and create some bits and pieces and install Swift. So there we go. So that has now been deployed. So the next question obviously is, what can you do with this? Well, at this point you should have a fully working OpenStack platform, obviously one that's designed for testing things. If you have a look in systemctl status, you'll see like networking OVM metadata is running, OpenStack Nova compute, Ceilometer polling. So if we jump in here, so here you go, you can see all the running OpenStack services here. So you've got, and also the Neutron server services. If any of these aren't running, then there's probably an issue. You can just use the standard systemctl commands to just restart those services. But that's great, so that's now working. So what we're going to do now is try actually logging in to the UI, to Horizon, just to prove that it's up and working. So we'll do that now. Now, if you're like me and you're running this server inside another cloud, you may find that this happens when you try to get to your Horizon. As you can see, I've gone to horizon.theopenstack.ninja. Now, strangely, I've just got a standard Apache web page. Now, that's generally because the way that the OpenStack platform is configured, it's expecting you to go via an IP. Now, because I'm behind a NAT device, or my OpenStack instance is behind a NAT device, I'm not sending the IP address through. So what we need to do here is very quickly, if you go into Etsy, so yeah, if you go into Etsy, httpd conf.d, and then go into 15-horizon-vhost.conf, vi rather than cd. See, this is expecting the server name to be packstack.openstack.local. So I'm just going to change this now to horizon.theopenstack.ninja. Change the server alias down here as well. Give HTTPD a restart. Wait for that to restart. So once Apache's restarted, we can check that it's started properly. Like this, you can come up here, you can see that it's now running 20 seconds ago. Come back over to our Chrome environment. Horizon.stack.ninja. And then if I've done that properly, there we go. Okay, so once you've fixed your Horizon instance, if you need to, what we're going to do now is we're going to switch back here to the command line. Now you'll notice it says here that I've got it now says root at Packstack keystone admin. Now that's because I've sourced what's known as the RC file. Now when you install Packstack, in your root in the root's home directory, you'll find a couple of files that are interesting. So as you can see, here's the Packstack answers file that we looked at earlier, but also you've got this Keystone RC admin file and Keystone RC demo file. Now these files contain the pre-created usernames and passwords for an admin user and a demo user, and you simply source them using the source command to actually make use of them. Now sourcing them just sets out of environment variables. We're going to have a look at this. We're going to look at these files in a second. So first of all, we're going to source the admin file, and again you can see it switches from Keystone Demo to Keystone Admin. Now if we cat out that Keystone RC admin file, you'll see that it's got it's basically just a bash. It's just a text file with some export. So this is executed when you run source. As you can see, like it sets export PS1, so it sets your shell. But it also sets things like your username, your password, your region name, an OS auth URL, a project name, and some other bits and pieces. Now, in order to log into Horizon, we're going to grab the password from here. Grab that, and then we're going to switch back across to Horizon, put the username of admin in and that password, and hit login. Now again, don't worry, this isn't actually on the internet, hence why I've not got SSL deployed. And there we go, we're now logged in, and you've now got a working OpenStack environment for you to play with. And as you can see, you've got all the installed services. I'm logged in as admin into the admin project. You've got the compute service, the volume service, the network service, object storage, admin. You've got the admin tab where you can come in and look at the hypervisors. Now, if you've not used Horizon before, I recommend checking out my other video, which the link will be in the description. And that will walk you through Horizon. Like I say, this has been a really quick video on how to go about getting a working Packstack installation deployed, and I hope it's been useful. Leave a like and a comment. Thanks guys, bye bye.